So Studio Pierrot, the studio behind some of the most beloved as well as hated anime, is celebrating its 40th anniversary, and they released an image with characters from a lot of the series that they worked on throughout the years. Some of them were missing, but honestly it kind of made me reminisce a little bit, and I was getting nostalgic looking at some of these images and thinking back, because honestly it's always good. If you want to move forward, sometimes you do need to know history and stuff like that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about these series in particular, some of my favorite moments, and kind of just reminisce a bit about life when it was happening. And feel free to join me as well if you have any stories about what was going on in your life with any of these particular series or things that changed you. So yeah, let's jump into it.
Whether Facebook, Twitter, or the two, make sure to steer clear, cause I'm coming through like...
Okay, so let's start off with the bottom. There's Yu Hakusho. They got Kurama, Yusuke, Kuwabara, and Hiei. Now, Yu Hakusho, in case you don't know, my name is partially inspired by the end of the Yu Hakusho anime. The words forever for never come on the screen before the series completely fades out, and it was so powerful it kind of made me use the word for never and interpret it into my own thing, and that was what partially inspired the name ForneverWorld. So Yu Hakusho, it honestly changed my life a lot. I remember in particular when I found the series, it was about like 2004, I want to say 2003, 2004. I remember I used to play on Adult Swim in the nighttime, and one of my friends at the time, one of my best friends, he used to watch it. We used to watch Dragon Ball Z, but he was really into this Yu Hakusho series. I really didn't give it a try. But then I had moved, it was like maybe, I don't know, 5 months after discovering the series, or 3 months after discovering the series. Yeah, probably about 3 months after discovering the series, I moved, and I was in my new location, and I remember I was really bored. You know, you got no friends, you just move. So I went and I rented some Dragon Ball Z DVDs, and I've told this story before, but I love this story because it really changed my life a lot. And one of the DVDs I put in, it was the last one, I want to say, or was it the first one? I don't know. I can't remember if it was the first or last one, but I put in the DVD, and it's Yu Hakusho, and I think it was the last one, and I'm like, fuck, you know, I'm pissed, I'm upset, because I'm like, man, I really want to watch Dragon Ball Z, and I don't really know what this is. But I'm like, whatever, I let it rock. I listened to the opening, I kind of hear it. And then I remember episode 1 plays, and it was crazy because it was a mistake. Somebody had put Yu Hakusho in the Dragon Ball Z DVD case. And I listened to what's going on, and I hear this character crying, and in the very beginning, one of the characters died from a car accident. Spoiler alert, but it happens within like the first 30 seconds of the anime, and it's just like so impactful. There's a funeral, this is a wake, and this one character, he was a thug that used to fight with the other character, but his death was so impactful to him that he's like, who am I gonna fight? You're supposed to be here for me. Like, you know, he's like, you coward, basically, that, you know, he died without giving him that last match to show him that he can, you know, outdo him. So it was really, really impactful. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at it, and the music, everything about it, it gives you, I was tearing up. I'm like, whoa, what is this? So then I started getting hooked into it, and I remember it was just really impactful. At one given point in my life, I want to say probably 2009ish, and I don't want to get too into it, but I remember I was really at a dark place, and Yu Hakusho, I had the 4 seasons, and I remember I just kind of was like, you know what, let me just, instead of thinking about dark thoughts, let me indulge in this series, and it really got me through a dark time. So Yu Hakusho, one of the most legendary series to me, one of the greatest series of all time, to be honest with you. I mean, it has some flaws to it, but for the most part, especially considering the anime is an anime only ending, because the manga, there was issues towards the end with Yoshihiro Togashi, the creator. Phenomenal series. Such a powerful message and a statement between the different arcs, mainly through the villains like Toguro and Sensui, and Yu Yu Hakusho for life. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It's a legendary series. Another one on the banner though for Studio Pierrot's 40th anniversary is we got Naruto and the Boruto characters, adult Naruto, adult Sasuke, Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki. Now, honestly, looking at this picture, I remember when I really started getting into Naruto, I want to say it was around like 2010-ish, early 2010. It was right when I started doing YouTube, honestly. I remember everyone was talking about Naruto, and I remembered back years before, about 2005-ish, I want to say, a younger cousin of mine, and I want to say I've told the story as well, but it was a younger cousin of mine. Me and my older cousin, he was like about a year older than me. We were like best friends. We was into Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, all of that shit. We was into, we were basically anime fans. We just kind of didn't know it yet, you know what I mean? And his younger brother was like, yo, he started talking about this Naruto thing, but you know, I'm young at the time, so I'm like, yo, get out of here, Goku, Dragon Ball all day, every day, don't come over here with that. So I really didn't get, because I had that little pride of like, I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan, like a dumbass. Thinking back now, like, it's cool to be a fan of something, but to disregard something just because you're a fan of something else, that's silly. You should be a little more open-minded than that, at the very least, I want to say. But I was a kid again, so can't really, I guess, go in on me for that per se. But so around 2010ish, I started watching it. I remember my first video, it was, I watched the first, I want to say the first half, or the first few, I honestly can't remember. I want to say it was probably the first half of the first arc of Zabuza, and I'd never finished it, I want to say, but I had made a video saying like it was just average. I wasn't really impressed with it, because mind you, again, the first 12 episodes shonen anime back then, they weren't as powerful, and I had seen quite a few anime before that, you know, especially you go from Dragon Ball Z and Yu Hakusho, first 12 of Naruto, especially when the whole community, that, which at the time wasn't that big, but if there's like, you know, 50 to 100 people that are watching and talking and active in the community, that's gonna be, you know, the big staple, like, oh, you need to talk about Naruto and stuff like that. And I remember my first video, I was disappointed, but as I kept watching, I finished the Zabuza arc. Really, when I fell in love with the series was Orochimaru and the Chunin exams. I'll never forget. I was like, yo, now we're talking, baby, and I was addicted. And I want to say at the time, streaming services weren't what they are now, so I was one of them YouTube boys jumping in and finding links and all sorts of shit, because I needed to watch this. I bought like the first, I want to say, few box sets, but then after a certain point, I didn't have the episodes for a while. I was like, yo, I ain't waiting for these DVDs to come in, and I marathoned the living shit out of it. And I want to say one of the first chapters I reviewed was the 4th grade Shinobi War, the very first chapter, or the second chapter into it, like 515, 516ish, and man, it was one hell of a ride. It really was. And then, you know, now we got Boruto, which the Boruto manga started off horrible. The re-adaptation of the anime, granted, the character design change was cool and all. The TV anime did the best adaptation of that arc, but man, it was like a slap in the face to have to wait so much longer. But where we're at now, the Boruto manga is incredible, so it's gotten a lot better. It's picked up a lot, the message and everything of what they're trying to portray, which is kind of mixed at the moment, to be honest with you, between Kawaki and Boruto. But Boruto right now, for what it's worth, I wish it would have been something different, to be honest with you. I think the direction the new series Samurai 8 is going is probably the direction Boruto should have gone, but for what it's worth, Boruto, the manga at the very least, is still hype, because it still has some of the spirit of the characters and the old cast, which that's the main problem with Boruto. We all know that the main characters is what drives that series. Nobody's really that invested in like Mitsuki. Well, I'd argue Mitsuki, probably Boruto and Sarada are like the ones that people are really invested in, but you know, nobody's caring about Inojin, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's caring about a lot of those characters, and but still, nevertheless, it's cool that at the very least the Naruto legacy isn't dead and it's still going on. Then to the left of them is some Bleach characters. We got Ichigo, Hitsugaya, and Rukia, and man, Bleach, bro, it was such a journey. I remember when I had caught up, I want to say early on in the Fullbring arc, possibly, somewhere around there. I want to more so talk about the anime for Bleach, because the manga, I mean, we could talk about that too, but mainly with the anime of Bleach, I would say that it was ahead of its time. The Bleach animation was incredible. I mean, the art style, a lot of the poetry that it kind of spoke from it. At the time, honestly, when I first started with Bleach, I really couldn't appreciate it for what it was worth. I'll be the first to admit that. I still say that there was issues with Bleach after Aizen's capture, especially in particular with the Fullbring arc, but the Thousand Year Blood War, until the end when it got rushed and everything, it was a pretty damn awesome arc. And Bleach as a whole is a pretty damn cool series. It's still one that, if you would ask me like 10 of Shonen Jump's best series, it would definitely be a staple in there, probably even top 5, because no matter what, Bleach went for 600 plus chapters and gave incredible battle sequences, all sorts of stuff. But the anime in particular, I really hope someday that we get that final arc animated, because the Bleach anime was incredible, and I love the movies and just the atmosphere, the character designs. Tite Kubo, the creator of Bleach, his character designs, like, he would lack detail in the background, but the character designs would stand out so much, and he would really use or make a lot of use of the colors black and white. That final arc, though, it deserves to be animated, because the anime, even though it had a lot of filler in it for what it was worth, again, Bleach as a whole, it was a damn good staple in its era, one of the big three, and you can never knock that out. So shout outs to Bleach. Next to it is Black Clover. Asta and y'all already know how I feel about Black Clover. I don't gotta say too much. Black Clover greatness, the manga right now. Honestly, Black Clover manga, you could argue top 3 in Shonen Jump right now. Again, I'm not caught up with every series, but Black Clover has been phenomenal, and it's been phenomenal in using the basics. It's using the cliches, but kind of making not even fun of the cliches, kind of just doing them better. If something did, like if Naruto did something or another series did something, it's doing the same type of cliche, but again, just outdoing it. So shout out to Black Clover, honestly, an incredible manga. I highly recommend that one. It's simple, but as it gets or as it progresses, amazing. And last, I just want to talk about, it's not on my list, Tokyo Ghoul. A lot of people know I was an incredible Tokyo Ghoul fan. Never finished the manga, sadly. Honestly, just life got too hectic for me to catch up with it, but eventually I am going to catch up with that, because the anime, at the very least, season 1, you can hate it, you can love it, whatever, but you cannot deny that season 1 was the reason why majority of people got into Tokyo Ghoul, and then everybody got into the manga after that, because season 1 of the anime, oh my gosh, the opening was freaking insane. That's probably one of my all-time favorite openings, alongside Yu Hakusho Smile Bomb. But it's almost like Studio Pierrot, there's a lot of issues in these series. A lot of them, there's filler, slow pacing, but you cannot deny that there's some type of spirit that Studio Pierrot puts into a lot of these things that make us love the characters and make us love them in these worlds and get fascinated with them. So shout outs to all the series. Any ones that I didn't mention that weren't on this list, or I just forgot that are staples, leave comments below. And any memories you have of a lot of these series. Again, with Black Clover, I just remember a time in my life with Black Clover that it was like I was in an uncertainty of like what I was going to do. I think Naruto had just ended a few months before, but I was excited for this work in particular because I was a huge fan of the creator of Hungry Joker, the work that kind of failed prior to Black Clover. There's just so many memories with these series, Studio Pierrot. Again, you can hate them or whatever, but they brought a lot of anime fans in, especially in the West. So shout out to Studio Pierrot, and I just wanted to do this fun and spontaneous kind of recollect nostalgia video for the 40 years of Studio Pierrot and for all these anime that we all love. Do a Yu Hakusho remake, I'm just saying, with some really high budget animation and art. Come on, Studio Pierrot, like, y'all owe us that with all the bot shit y'all done over the years. Can we get Yu Hakusho remake, please? Come on. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit the bell to get all notifications. I greatly appreciate it. And if you want to follow any of my social media, links of course in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day. Can't forget the music though. Hold on, let me play y'all a little something.
Make sure your next move is your best move. Feeling smarter, I guess less. But always remember, no matter the weather, I was October through to September. Whenever you needed, whatever you needed. Every girl hates